Hello, dears. By now, you might have watched webinar 1 and 2 already. So this is the third and last webinar around this topic. I'm very excited for you to be here, either joining in live or watching the replay. No matter where you are, if you are in the call live, feel free to ask questions in the comments and I will answer them. If you are tuning in and watch the replay, feel free to text questions underneath the video or reach out to me via mail or some other form. Yes, super excited that we are going to round this up in today's call. So the whole topic about the 3 webinars is becoming fully alive and radiant. And it's like different steps how to get there. So we had the first bundle was the foundation, the body, the self, and the emotions. The second webinar video was about the tools, like tools that we need to get there, which for me is movement and dance, plants and nature. And we have the beautiful topic of magic and creativity. And as I've shared many times before, those are just slight insights into those topics. We don't have that much time today to tune into fully into everything. And also there might be other tools for you out there, but this is just some tools that I find really beneficial, that I love talking about. And this is why I chose them, obviously. So here we are today in the topic of integration, because this is often something that gets forgotten when we have this whole healing work. When we learn about new topics, we forget the integration part. The integration part is that part which makes it able for you to bring this work into your daily life, as in to embody it and to start making it a habit so that every day you can live from this. Like it becomes such a habit that you don't even have to think about it anymore. I mean, how great is that? And obviously to get there, we need a few steps. To make something a habit, we usually need to make it a routine, or like we need to integrate it in our daily life. And I think, yeah, we've heard a lot about routine. I actually don't like that word too much because it entails a lot of like disciplinary force. Whereas I think things like that, like embodying it, it can be so gentle and soft, and we can find different tools for each individual person that works and that makes it easy. So for me, integration can be something fun and liberating, and it can be something that is like embracing, and it can be easy and light. So this is a bit what I want to talk about. How can integration become easy and light, and how can we feel pleasure in all of that? Yes, so stay tuned. I also think that it might be a shorter call today. I'm aiming towards 30 minutes, but who knows, once I start talking, I might talk more, just because sometimes topics don't need to be diving in for that long. Yeah. A little bit about me. If it's the first video that you're watching, maybe you just wanted to watch that webinar, then welcome. My name is Jennifer Nadia. I am a coach, a plant whisperer, embodiment practitioner, and I also organize a women's festival in Switzerland. So there's a lot of different angles in my work, and that's why in this course, it brings everything together. So this is like a course that brings all of the different topics that I have been working through for the past years, that I've been having educations and teachings around, brings it all together into one bundle. And the idea is that you're coming in maybe feeling depleted and stuck, and you're going out of it feeling radiantly alive. So this course, Cosmic Radiance, that I've developed, I was also thinking, like, how can I break it down into simpler topics and make it very simple, and have something free, like a free offer for you to dive in and explore. And that's why the idea of these webinars came up. Like just a moment where we can dive into each topic, or like these 3 bundle topics individually, and I can introduce to you what it is, so you can actually take something away. Because I always say, sometimes we just need a new insight. Sometimes we just need a new inspiration, and something can shift in our life. Yeah. And if you really feel called to obviously join the course, then you're more than welcome. Stay until the end, because there's going to be a discount, especially for people joining here to live today. You will be the first one having that discount code. available to you. I will be sharing that more about that in the email that I will share with you. Yes, so anyway, diving into this topic. So I've shared a little bit of why I think integration is important, and I want to start diving into each topic individually. So the first module, or let's say the week that I've chosen, is radiance and pleasure. And I've brought those together because they are like not so easy to grasp words, or maybe we have heard about it, but we've heard about it in a different context. So it's also breaking apart that which we've known and bringing a new idea or a new concept into that. And it also, both of those are actually forces or energies or emotions or whatever you want to call that, that in my opinion make life so much more fun and easy to live by. And that's why I'm sharing about that. And I'm also combining the two because I think together they're like a force that you can't, a force, just a powerful force. So for pleasure, and for this, it's really important for me to take back the word pleasure from thinking that pleasure is solemnly something that we experience with another person in the bedroom. For me, pleasure is an emotion, a feeling, an energy, a vibration, a frequency that we can feel everywhere, whenever we want to. And we can start learning to integrate that into our daily life. Examples. What if you could eat your food with pleasure? What would be if you could have pleasure, experience pleasure while you eat food? What if you go for a walk and you can experience pleasure? What if you just by choosing the clothes to wear, the fabric on your skin, you can feel pleasure? So it becomes this thing of pleasure being a daily habit or a daily thing that is just always there. Like, what if you live a life that is pleasure filled? Pleasure as the central force. Like, how much fun would that be? So pleasure becomes something that is way bigger than just thinking it's something in a bedroom, live by yourself or with someone else, even though that's very important. What if pleasure is so much more? What if pleasure is something that we can just take anywhere we go? It's always there and always part of us, no matter how we feel, no matter what we do, no matter where we are. And this is something that we need to practice because we live in a society that has a very centered view on pleasure and also judges it a little bit, as in like, don't talk about it. It's the dirty stuff, which is bullshit. It's not the dirty stuff. And what if we take that back and really start thinking that, yes, it is something different and it's my right to feel it. It's my right to be in this pleasure-filled state, and start moving from that. And I mean, I think we have all seen examples of that or felt maybe little glimpses. Like, can you remember a day where you just felt really, really good? Everything was joyful and there was maybe, I don't know, the sun was on your skin. Like, imagine it. Maybe even close your eyes if you can for a second. And I know we are in Europe, especially we are in winter. So can you just close your eyes and imagine the sun on your skin? Like, you're just closing the eyes, you're standing somewhere in nature and the sun is on your skin and you haven't seen the sun in a while. Can you imagine that, how that feels? Isn't that fully pleasurable, that feeling of the warm sun on your skin? And what if you imagine at the same time that your feet, that you're barefoot and your feet are in the sand and your toes are playing with the sand, they're touching the sand, they're grabbing it. It's warmth in the distance. You can hear maybe the ocean. You can feel the wind on your skin. You can feel the dress moving, the clothes, the shirt, whatever you're wearing. And just take a few breaths in, feeling that. And can you invite, in that scenario, can you invite pleasure in? Like, how much pleasure can you experience in that moment? Can you feel? How much pleasure do you allow yourself to feel right now? And can you even heighten that? What if you make it 10% more? 10% more pleasure filled right now. Are you able to feel that? What does it feel like? Can you feel maybe the expansion that is happening in your body? Your body and your being becoming bigger, taking up more space. Even though physically you're not taking up more space, it feels like maybe you can breathe deeper. It feels like you're growing in ways. So what if you take that feeling, this which you're feeling right now, what if you take that and just start applying it to every single thing that you're doing? Like really inviting you to find the pleasure in every single moment. And I mean, there's easy moments, right? Feel free to open your eyes again, by the way. There is easy moments. For me, it's easy. If I eat a bar of chocolate, it's easy, but only if I do it consciously, as in I think about it while I do it. But what if things that we don't like doing, like for me, cleaning, I don't like cleaning. So what if I try and invite that pleasure into cleaning? And it is possible. I've had many moments where that was possible, where I maybe even focus more on the satisfaction I feel after the space is cleaned, right? I know while I'm doing it that I will feel this massive satisfaction afterwards. So this can give me pleasure in the moment when I do something that I actually don't like doing. So that's a huge invitation of just like allowing yourself to feel. So just me speaking about that, believe me, that is going to do something to you. It's going to open your mind. It's going to expand your being. It's going to expand your horizon towards that being a possibility. And that's the beauty of it. Sometimes we don't need to go deeper. Sometimes this is enough, but obviously, if you want to go deeper, feel free to go. But it can be simple. Life can be simple, especially when I talk about all of those topics. It is allowed to be simple. And that's definitely my goal with this course that I've published, or I'm making it happen. It is the idea that it doesn't need to be struggle. It doesn't need to be hard. It can be fun. It can be easy. It can be joyful. Yeah. So how does the topic of radiance tie into that whole thing? And also here, I've shared a little bit of writing on Instagram, and I will be sharing more on Facebook. So feel free to check out whatever I've shared there and have a look. Radiance, if you look at the definition of it, it's a light is shining on you. So right now you see a light is shining on me, and my being is radiating that light towards you. Right. So that's an external thing. It's happening all around us. But what if we have a light within us? So this doesn't need to be an actual light, but this can be, again, a vibration, a frequency, and energy. What if you have this light within us and we can emit it outside? So we radiate our inner light to the outside world. And I mean, I have a very simple example that I'm sure every one of you has experienced. Imagine you're at a party. Just think the last time you were at a party or every social gathering, and there's this one person that is entering the room, and all eyes turn toward us, that person immediately. This person is captivating everyone. Usually it's because they are tapped into their radiance. They become magnetic. People want to wear what they wear. People want to be who they are. People want to be with them, want to be their friends, their partners, their lovers, whatever. But it's this feeling like what, and I believe very strongly that we all have the ability to step into that. It's a decision if we choose it, and not everyone wants to choose it, and that's completely fine. We don't all have the same goals. We don't all have the same truths, and that's why it's very important to feel what is your truth? Who do you want to be in this world? Right? And if you want to be tapping into this radiance, then this is an invitation to allow it, like to allow the possibility that yes, you can, no matter what age you are, how old you are, no matter what you look like, no matter if you believe you can do it. I think everyone can if we allow ourselves to open up. And obviously, if we also tap into it, because becoming radiant, for me in my experience, it can bring up a lot of different insecurities and fears, and different stories from the past, like just sharing a very small one. As a woman in the world we're living in right now, and also a couple of centuries before, we weren't safe when we tapped into our radiance. Only very few women were safe, and the rest, it usually wasn't safe. We had to diminish our light, we had to make us smaller. It was only something that we were allowed to show in front of our husbands. And even nowadays, if you walk through the cities and the main streets, and wherever you are, and you are really tapped into this radiance, it can become unsafe. And it can become a nuisance where you're just attracting unwanted attention, because often when you're tapped into this radiance, and this is because in a society we're not yet ready, but that's why I believe very strongly that the more people start working with that and activating it within themselves, the less you need it from someone else. The less you become needy, that if someone else is radiant, that you need this person, right? And that's often the case. We see someone that is radiant and we want them. We want to be like them. So we want a piece of them. Instead of thinking they're an inspiration, I fucking want to be like them. How do I become that? How do I step into these shoes? Not into their shoes. How do I step into this similar shoes where I can be my own unique radiance? And that's very important. We are all very different human beings. So not the radiance, your personal radiance doesn't need to look like someone else's, right? And so it's very important that you find your own truth. What is your truth around that? Which truth do you want to live? Yeah. Super important topic, but I think the main point is everyone can be radiant if you choose to. And if you do the work doesn't need to be hard. It can, but it doesn't need to be. It depends what person you are. If you find guidance in that, it usually becomes easier, obviously, then you wouldn't try and do it all by yourself. This is my experience. I've pushed or worked through a lot of things by myself, but now I'm at a point where I'm like, give me support, give me helpers. I have coaches, I have people I work with, and it's much easier. So that's what I'm saying. But feel again what resonates for you. What is your truth? And being radiant makes you magnetic, and it attracts things into your life, and it emits this light within you that is just your innermost truth, that there's nothing fake about being radiant, about this radiant light. It's your innermost truth. You can't just pretend to have it and turn it on. It's like your innermost light that shines out. Yeah, so just take a moment for that, and maybe even close your eyes here for a second. Let's do a little meditation experiment around it. So I just invite you to imagine, and this can be whatever color comes up. So just trust that whatever color is coming up, maybe you can see it in your mind's eyes. Maybe you just know about the color. Maybe you can hear the word. Maybe you just perceive it in some way. Just imagine a color, and this color represents your radiance, like your own unique radiance. So no matter what this color is or what it looks like, imagine that you're drawing a massive bubble, like a soap bubble around yourself. So if you want to, you can use your hands to do that. I like to just imagine that it is happening, and usually I can see it happening. So imagine this huge soap bubble of this light, of this color, just starting to appear around you, that you're sitting in comfortably. It's going underneath your feet and on top of your head. So you're really fully submerged in it. So imagine if this is your radiance, if this is your radiant light, imagine it becoming a bit see-through, a bit lighter intensity. And imagine that on every exhale, a little bit of that is flowing into the world. There's nothing that you lose if that happens. There's nothing that's been taken away from you. But it's this thing of like releasing it into the world. And you can just start imagining, and in whatever way this light, this color flows into the world, maybe it's like waves or like air, maybe it's going like roots through the ground. No matter what your way is, just start imagining it's moving outwards of you. Are you able to do that? And if not, then maybe just try again another time. But it's just a little experiment here of what this radiance could look like or feel like. So, yeah, what would that feel like if you have this bubble around you that is emitting energy, your light into the world? And imagine that it's actually like reaching exactly the people you need in your life. Be it a new business partner, be it a lover, be it friends, be it a new client. What if that light is reaching those people? So you don't have to do anything else than sit here and just imagine your radiance is emitting into the world. And obviously that's easier said than done, but practice is the key, right? And this is just an example and a visualization of what is potentially possible. Just take a moment, slowly coming back to the space, just letting this go for now, knowing that this bubble is always part of you and around you. That for right now, we are going to focus on another topic. And maybe here also take a moment just to contemplate again, what are your takeaways so far around pleasure and radiance? What is the thing that you really feel like this is new? I didn't know that. This I'm going to take away. If I've learned nothing else today, this is what I'm going to take away. So just for a moment, feel that, think about that. And then we let the topic of radiance and pleasure go, and we are going to focus on the second topic, which is going to be aliveness. And it's actually very much linked to the first two, because in my opinion, living a pleasure-filled life and following our radiance actually makes you feel alive. So I also have written a post around aliveness recently on Instagram and Facebook that you are more than welcome to read, where I have described what aliveness feels for me. So aliveness for me, it's not something that is easily graspable. Again, it's not really a feeling. It's more like a state of being, maybe. And maybe you have had moments where you felt fully alive. It often happens if we're like in a really, really beautiful place, somewhere in nature, if we're freshly in love, or if something else, maybe the birth of a child or something really intense and exciting happens, we feel fully alive. Maybe we perceive the world even more clear, like the colors become more vivid, the smells become intensified. It's just like everything is just expansion is so huge. So aliveness is something within you. It's nothing outside of you. Or maybe it is slightly outside of you, but it's not some external force that you can just invite in or buy and then you have it. But it's something that you work or you do around yourself or with yourself, right? So what are things? And then here there is a lot of exploring this topic for yourself. Like, what are things that make you feel alive? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever created a list? And maybe note that down for after this call. Can you create a list of things that make you fully alive? Like feel fully alive, sorry. Things that make you feel fully alive. Are you able to create this list? Is it easy? Is it difficult? And if you have this list, how many of those things are you actually doing in your daily life? Or maybe even which of those things are you actually doing once a month, once a year? Or are you not really doing those things? So those things that make you feel really alive, are you creating your life around that or not? And that's a very important topic to think about, right? So we are the creator of our own life and we choose to live mainly doing things that make us feel depleted and empty and tired and exhausted and collapsed, it's our own decision to also change something around that, if we can, obviously. But I think there is possibilities where we can feel that. And I'm not talking about you need, I don't know, you need something from the external to do that. But maybe for you, feeling alive is having a bath by yourself. Maybe for you, feeling alive is going for a walk in the forest where no one else is disturbing you. Maybe for you, feeling alive is waking up after a nap. And those are things that they don't cost anything. They don't take that much time. Everyone is able to do it. I'm not saying you need to think about buying a new car that makes you feel alive, but rather what are those small little things that you can implement into your daily life? And then also start thinking, like really feeling for yourself, what does that feel like? If you imagine waking up from a nap in the forest, which I actually think is such a beautiful thing to do, how do you feel after that? And then really start noticing in your body what aliveness feels for you, because that is very unique. I've shared a little bit what it feels about for me, and I share more about it in the post. But it's more important for you to discover what that is. So for me, this is more a topic of exploration where I would invite people to practice, to do something fun, like I said, to write lists or just to journal around it and to explore this as if you're a child. Because in my opinion, children feel alive most of the time. And as adults, we kind of lose that. So it's more an exploration than learning. There is not much to teach about except our own experience. And this is always the best teaching method anyway, our own experience. So for me, this whole topic is more an exploration, more a journey and an invitation to take time to explore that, more than me sharing any wisdom. I think that's also very, very important to know, to notice and to know. Yeah. So maybe just close your eyes for a moment here. And then just imagine a very simple and easy scenario that would be possible tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow, this scenario, even like right after this call, this is a very likely scenario that is possible that would make you feel alive. So choose something simple. And then just start imagining that. Imagining that you are doing this activity or that you've just been finished doing that activity, and just start tapping into how do you feel and really tuning into your body. What sensations are present? What emotions are present? And how does your body generally feel? And really taking your time here to feel for a moment. What does aliveness feel for you? And we're just keeping it short right now. So I invite you just to let go that scenario, that possibility for right now, knowing that you can go back to it whenever you want to. But for right now, you let that go. And for right now, you also let the topic of aliveness go. That we've just done a little exploration. I've invited you a lot to explore by yourself, but just letting that go for now. And just feel yourself taking 2 or 3 more deep breaths, really feeling that you are integrating what you have learned. You're like letting them thoughts and the experience settle. And then the next exhale, just imagine that you're opening yourself up for the third and last topic. Beautiful. Yeah, and here we're coming to the nitty-gritty, in my opinion, and like the top of the iceberg or the cherry on top of the ice cream. I'm not sure if that's just a German saying or not. But it's the topic of purpose. So the whole idea of everything here, obviously, is, and that's a big thing that we're all searching for, what is my purpose? And here, my invitation right from the beginning is, I don't think there is one purpose that we are following. I think we have multiple purposes in our life. So maybe it's just the time to choose what is your purpose right now. Maybe you already have the big vision and you have very much a clarity around it, but most people don't. Most people have no idea and no clue because, again, we're not really invited to talk about that, think about it, experience that, actually even allowing ourselves to feel that, right? So what is your purpose? Can be, what is my purpose today? Like when I wake up, what do I want to do today? What do I feel like is my purpose today, tomorrow, the next month, the next week? And it's like tapping that, like taking steps towards it. Instead of thinking that we need to be there right now and know everything and already have achieved it. And then basically we have everything with 20 or 30 or 40. And then what do we do the rest of our lives? Maybe see it as a journey where you take one step after the other. It's one exploration after the other. So allowing yourself that maybe today the purpose is not so clear, but maybe like the bigger purpose is not so clear, but maybe there is a version that right now you know is the truth. And maybe right now you know exactly what your next step is going to be. And this is the path towards your purpose. And this is what we're more focusing on, to find this clarity, maybe of the next step, maybe of the 10 next steps where you're going to. And maybe we have a big vision. And then we also will break it down into tangible steps, because otherwise we start creating tension and like anxiety and disruptions in the nervous system because we want too much. We want to change too much in too little time, which can cause intensity. And then here, what is also really, really important, that what I've experienced a lot right now is that many people are starting to follow similar paths. So we see someone, we feel inspired and we're like, oh, I want to be like them. So we follow their path, but we're not taking that back. It's a little bit what I shared before with Radiance. We're not taking that back of like, oh, this person inspires me. What about them inspires me? I actually want to be like them. What about them do I want to be? Okay, I want to be powerful. I want to have a lot of friends. I want to be the center of attention, and I want to wear this beautiful dress. Okay, what is my path towards that? I don't need to follow this girl's path or this person's path, because most likely following someone else's path is not actually your truth, because we're very unique. We can have similar paths to someone else, but it's not fully your truth. So how do you get there? Maybe to start noting down what inspires you about that person, and you don't need to follow in their footsteps. Start thinking for yourself. Have people around you that make you think for yourself. Invite yourself to think for yourself. Get support if you can't do that, but really start this step on this path along the line of your truth, not following someone else. So what is your purpose? Not what is someone else's purpose and just doing and copying that. And that happens so many times. And what that will create is, for a while it might work and it feels good, but then chaos will start somewhere. Maybe everything is crashing, or you still feel really confused. You have it and it doesn't feel right. It's because it's not yours. It's not your truth. It's not your path. So isn't it much more exciting to start this journey? And that sometimes is the scary one, right? We are, especially like at school, we learn to learn things by copying it for something else. We read a book, we learn around that. We often don't learn to think for ourselves, and especially not to feel for ourselves. We learn to think for ourselves, but not to feel for ourselves. We don't learn to feel within ourselves for our truth. Maybe you will grow up in a family that was the case, but most people don't. We just grow up thinking that we need to follow what others are doing or what people tell us to do, but we're not tapped into our own truth. So this is an invitation to tap into your own truth and figure out what is your purpose. And I'm not here to tell you what your purpose is. Like, who am I to think I know that? Like, I actually don't even think I know that. Like, there is no part and cell of my body thinking that I know it, but I definitely know following someone else's path, which is not aligned to your own inner truth, is not going to bring you anywhere. So that, and the second part, which I've talked about before, breaking it down into tangible steps so we don't don't create too much stress for our being. So because what often happens if we create too much stress for our being, for our body, for our system, we start chucking it all away and not doing it. So it's this thing of like softening down and allowing the softness, like in slow motion, to things happen. And this is the beautiful thing. If we allow things to happen in slow motion, in softness and gentleness, they usually accelerate. I don't know, there's this German book, Momo, and it's and there is a part in the story where this little, I don't actually know gender it is, so it doesn't matter, this little being wants to walk towards a goal. There's a castle, I think, that they want to walk towards. And the faster they walk, the further away that castle goes, until they realize that they need to go slow. And the slower they go, the closer the castle gets. So for me, it's often like that as well. If we start decelerating, as in slowing down, that's where things start accelerating. Take that in. Like slowing down accelerates things. Yeah. Maybe take a breath here just to let that settle and feel that maybe even the vibration in your body of the truth hitting, which I think is a very beautiful thing. So maybe also close your eyes here. And I've talked a lot, and maybe just start imagining what right now in this moment. And if we start breaking it down into very, very simple things, what feels like is one purpose for you that you can grasp? What is your purpose? Maybe not what is your purpose in this life, because that's a huge one. But what is your purpose in this relationship, in this work, right now, today? Like just into tangible steps. I mean, for example, my purpose right here is just to speak my truth, so that little seeds are planted within the people that can spread and blossom into something much, much bigger. This is my purpose right now for this call. And then for something else, it might be different. So what is your little purpose right now and in this moment? And what would it feel like if you start moving towards that? If you're allowing that to happen, maybe even after this call, is there something that you can do to fulfill that purpose, that little small purpose of yours today, right now, the next couple of days, weeks? And just feel, what is the next step to take here? And just let that go for now, knowing that you can go back to it whenever you want to. And you can also journey further with that topic after this call. But for now, just letting it go. Taking a few deep inhales, letting everything that you've heard about the purpose, just let it settle within your system, your body, your mind. whatever stays, stays, whatever wants to go, go, which is also an important process as well. And then just in your own time, come back to the screen whenever you're ready. And we're slowly getting towards the end, and I really want to thank you so much for having been here today, or maybe you even tuned into all 3 webinars or watched all 3 replays. I'm very curious what your takeaway was. So please feel free to send me an email, write me a comment, reach me somewhere else and tell me what was your takeaway, what is the biggest thing that you've learned, and maybe what was something that you managed to implement into your life. I'm also very curious around that. And obviously, feel free if you want to explore that topic deeper. I have created this beautiful course where we will tap into each of those topics for a whole week. I believe we need this slowness and we need this time, and these topics are so massive and big, we can't just talk about it in 10 minutes. So feel free, this invitation is here for you. If you really feel like that spark of, yes, I'm ready to tap into my radiance. I want to feel alive, especially now that spring and summer is coming. Get me out of that winter cold, get me into this aliveness and this radiance and into following my purpose, then reach out to me. Reach out to me. You can reply to my email. You can directly go to my website. Message me on Instagram and ask for questions. There's going to be a beautiful, beautiful discount happening for people that have tuned into the webinar. First, I will publish it to you, and then I will publish it to the public. It's going to be available for a couple of days. It's going to be a massive discount on the course price. That is just like, it's never going to be like that anymore. You know, this is the first time I'm going to do this course. Next time I will be charging way more, but this time I'm making this the big discount because I'm just so insanely excited to share this work with you, and because I want to see more people tapping into their radiance and feel alive, and I want to see more people stepping into this world and inspiring others. So if you feel that call, reach out to me, ask me. And just in general, I wish you a beautiful day, no matter where you are, what you do on your journey. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving my words some place to land. And yeah, have a beautiful day.